Hi, my name is Blake Tobez, and in this Google Doc, I'm going to be giving you the overview of how to get started in meditation as a complete beginner, even if you have no experience. And in fact, the less experience you have, the better you are positioned to get a lot of results from what I'm about to show you. I'm making this video because I got 10 younger siblings and tons of cousins and a ton of people that I've helped over the course of my business career in various coaching, e-learning organizations that need this information. They need it broken down to them in a simplified format. And I'm not going to get into every single step of it, but I will show the specific resources that you need to binge watch or binge read in order to master this skill. This is not a simple habit you implement in your life and you hope it gets better. This is a complete lifestyle shift, okay? But it starts with, of course, getting new habits. The first part of this would be consisting of why it's important, and then we're going to talk about why most people fail to implement this into their life, even though they know that it's important for them. And then the specific activities that you can take, the specific actions. So you're going to want to probably get your laptop out because you're going to be setting up a schedule and writing some things down and actually making this happen for you so you can get the results that we're about to talk about. And then for those of you who have severe trauma in your life that's maybe preventing you from having the best relationship that you want, getting as much sales as you need to have, or just making progress in your life in whatever vector, I have some solutions for that, especially for those of you that may have PTSD, whether from war, sexual trauma, or violence, that sort of thing. So it's going to be a really incredible video, and I can't wait to go through it all with you. So let's get into the why. Well, number one, a lot of people, they start meditating because they need better focus. They need this thing called coherence. See, when the heart and the brain are both coherent, you can make better decisions about where your attention is placed. And they found that when somebody, their heart rate variability is at a certain beat structure or rhythm, that you're able to focus better, you're able to exit this monkey mind mentality of multitasking and context switching and the fatigue that goes with it. No, you instead focus on what is the primary thing that's going to move me forward in a specific area of my life, and you are going at it full steam ahead, and you are fully present with the activity at hand. And meditation helps you do with that. Helps you if you have ADHD, ADD, better choices, and you trust in your decisions a lot more because your decisions become higher quality. Number two, solutions. So in your first meditation sessions, a lot of people are not able to instantly hit mystical moments, instantly hit healing, instantly hit these heightened states of consciousness that a lot of people talk about. Instead, they think of creative solutions. They have creative solutions come to them. They get a download, right, into their brain, and they find out, hey, I got this problem in my life, and here's a solution for it. They find that out by going within and achieving the stillness. So that's the second benefit. Third is healing. I know several people that have healed emotional wounds, physical wounds, people who've had cancer, AIDS, all kinds of incredible diseases that they just healed with by consistently meditating. Some people it took them 2 years. Some people it took them a month. Some people it took them a week. But ultimately, you're creating coherence within your body and your mind. And as you learn about the science of why the meditation is important, you're going to begin to understand why there's such an incredible movement that's taking place in the scientific community, in the meditation community, and just like the holistic health and living community towards putting in place these practices into people's lifestyles so they can solve for what were previously incurable diseases. Okay, solving for the problems that money can't solve. That's what we're doing over here. And then you begin to get better quality creations as a result of living in the state of being where you are aligned with who you exactly need to be in this time on earth. So it's easier to create, it's easier to flow. You're hacking in these flow states. There's a great business that I'm connected with called Giving Business Soul, and they're got an Instagram, I'll link it down here. And they have these Flow Mondays where you just do a breath work for an hour long, and then it's a breath work in tandem with some other things that allows you to enter this flow state that sets you up for a week ahead of progress, and you're just way more, not just energized, because when people think of energized, they think of energy drink. You're energized from a state of overflowing solutions and focus and just positivity, not necessarily from a state of lack or a state of fight or flight, okay, or attack and defend. So Your creations are higher quality from this flow state. And then number 5, your synchronicities seem to happen a lot more often in your life. You ever just have a moment where somebody shows up, or you get a text, or you have a random event, or you have a random number pop up? These things happen more frequently and in alignment with exactly what you're tuning into, alignment with what your exact desires are. The more that you do meditations, you just have these synchronicities, and the universe, it seems, is conspiring for your greatest good. And hey, if you are in tune, if you believe that the universe is conspiring for your greatest good, then hey, it's going to start behaving in such a way. All right? And meditation allows you to tune into that belief. So here's what's going to stop you, because it stopped me. I've been doing this for about 3 years now consistently, but in the past, I'd say 6 months, super consistently, meditating every single day. You're going to eventually get to this point. I'm not suggesting that you do 1-hour meditations every single day from the rip, but you can if you need to, if you are in a severe health condition. If you're not, you may not find the will to do it, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. Your body has conditioned itself to enjoy the suffering, the guilt, shame, the known, the hormones of stress, right? All the known hormones that keep you in the same place of where you're at. All the known thoughts, all the known feelings. Okay, so as you start to meditate, you may even have thoughts that pop up, and they're thoughts from the past or stories, and you haven't thought about them in a while. But the longer that you meditate, the more familiar you get with the feelings and thoughts that pop up, and the more you become familiar with it, then the easier it is to just let it go, and it doesn't trigger you into an emotional state to think about a past event that happened whenever you were 8 years old, or a relationship that went awry whenever you were 16 years old, or the if this, or coulda, woulda, shoulda scenarios that may pop into your head that bring you feelings of shame or guilt, or wanting to just get up and go take action on it. You're letting go of attachment of these things as they come into your awareness and you drop them. All right? So that's why it's incredibly useful. And a lot of people, they won't be able to make it happen for them. They'll say, I'll start tomorrow. I'm not worthy yet. I can't do it. And these thoughts lead to the same choices, behaviors, and emotions. And we just got to go through the process of remembering of who we really are. Okay, this divine creator that was sent here by our own volition. All right, whether you believe that you're connected to God, you are God, or maybe you don't believe that there is a God, but you were sent here for a reason. I even have mentors that believe that we didn't come here for really any reason, and after we die, we will be nothing. Hey, there may be some truth to that, but I don't choose to subscribe to that. It just is a little bit more of a depressing way of living, more of a nihilistic way of living. And if you follow some of the people that I've talked about on this channel, then you probably know who I'm talking about whenever I mention that. So here's a key reason most meditation practices aren't very effective. Number one, you have the breath. And that breath, as you've seen from these people like Wim Hof doing all these different breathing techniques in order to change the way that their cells are in their body, their DNA changes, their body structure just becomes more resilient. Maybe you're already aware of that, but this breath is such a vital aspect to your meditation because you are literally pulling your mind out of your body. And by doing this specific breath that Dr. Dispenza, Joe Dispenza teaches, who is a meditation coach, he shows you that you can, in just 5 minutes or 10 minutes of doing this breath, you can settle your mind down and you won't be in the same state that you were when you first sat down to do the breath. Which a lot of people, when they sit down and close their eyes, if I asked you right now, hey, sit down and close your eyes and meditate, your mind would go in a bunch of different places. And so the point of the breath is so that way you can still your mind, you can find this center point, you can find this stillness, and hey, it's just an activity, it's a function. So you're not trying to do mental gymnastics, you're using your body, right? You're using your breath, and you're squeezing specific muscles in order to create a state of just pleasant stillness within yourself. And not to mention, I don't want to get into too much of the science, you can go check out this video, but there's science behind cerebral spinal fluid going into your brain and rubbing up against your pineal gland and creating some chemicals that allow you to meditate a bit better. All right. Another reason why people fail to meditate well, or they just have the wrong practices, they're not doing it long enough. They're just too comfortable. they do these 5-minute, these 10-minute meditations. That's great when you're first starting out, but you need to have sessions that are that are really pushing you, that are hour long, a lot of cases, hour and a half long. You got to get outside of your comfort zone, because the more you get outside of your comfort zone, the more breakthroughs and experiences that you'll have that will show you who you really are and unveil your true capabilities as a person. So if you're interested in that, you're going to go past 10 minutes. And then the third one is it lacks optimized hypnotic suggestions. So what do I mean by that? So there's certain things that people say in guided meditations that will put you deeper into a state of nothing, a state of brainwave activity that is comparable to a monk meditating on a mountain who's been doing it 30 years. So there are things that somebody could say in a meditation track to put your brain into that state. Why don't we just use the most optimal track, even if it sounds a little bit weird? If it's hypnotically inducing us into a place where we can tap into our subconscious mind on an even deeper level, why aren't we doing that? Moreover, if we want to get a specific outcome from the meditation, say like if the feeling of love, the feeling of freedom emanating all throughout our body, and we just feel that, and we feel that on a more consistent basis, in order to do that, we literally have to, in this meditative space, make that be the only thought. And so the activity of the meditations that I like to do is going into nothing. You're literally just with your eyes closed, going to the blackness, and then you tune in to a specific thought. And you could say that's a specific frequency, because thought has frequency and it's in your brain and it triggers all these other emotions and thoughts that correspond with it. So if you just have that one thought, say the thought of your freedom or the thought of your abundance, then hey, it may be a lot easier for you to consistently feel that in your day-to-day life. And so if you are consistently feeling abundant, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to behave and thus have synchronicities in your life that are reflective of this inner universe of abundance. So pretty cool, right? Now let's get into the content binge. So there are several interviews by Dispenza where he gets interviewed by various people, various thought leaders, doctors, celebrities, other influencers in the space of holistic health, and maybe even people not even in holistic health, just are curious cats. They interview him, and in a lot of these interviews, he's essentially explaining the utility of the meditation, understanding the why of what they're doing, and then the models behind thoughts and its interaction between the body, and then how that shapes the personal reality of the individual, of the observer. Okay, and then that's the first thing you're going to do. The second thing is the Dispenza testimonials. These are not from the event. He has events, 7-day ones, 3-day ones, that he brings people into this 8-hour block of information, bombardment, and meditations, and there's a lot of transformation that happens at his events. You want to look at the ones, because you're not going to an event, or at least not yet, you haven't gone to an event, so you want to have yourself and your mind resonate with those who just did the meditations at home like you're about to do, okay? That's pretty simple to understand. And then number 3, you're going to want to talk to people in the community, talk about what you learned, get connected. If you don't have community or friends, you got to get around people who are doing this work. If you don't, then you will fall back to the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. You better unsubscribe from everybody who is not doing the work. You better stop talking to people who are not doing the work, because when I say the work, I mean the work of meditating on a consistent basis. Because, hey, if you know what can happen, if you know where the magic is from this, and you've even experienced it, the worst thing you can do for yourself is continually be around the same triggering stimuli that puts you in your past version of yourself. Makes sense? So I would encourage you to go and find these new communities. And also, look into the scientific research. There is tons of research being done, millions of dollars in funding, to see what the effects of meditation has on people's on their brain, on the cellular level, in their DNA. There's evidence to suggest that these meditations have helped cure cancer, and there's like a body of work being created right now at the University of San Diego, University California, San Diego. Dr. Patel is doing a lot of work related to the meditation's effects on blood and its ability now to resist certain compounds, certain viruses, right? I'll let you be curious about that and do your own research there. But dive in and see what there is. Get your analytical brain engaged, your think box. Become aware of the data supporting the reason why you're doing what you're doing, and you're more likely to follow through with it and less likely to say, oh, it doesn't work, or oh, it's not going to work for me, or what have you, okay? You need overwhelming amount of evidence in order to overpower this monkey mind machine that's keeping you in the same state that you're in. Make sense? Because I sure as hell needed it. I'll tell you, the two last things on the content binge you're going to discover as you go through these interviews, maybe go through some Dispenza's courses, but you got to have an understanding and awareness of the energy centers, okay? So you could also call these chakras. Maybe you've seen them at a yoga retreat or a yoga studio, but these chakras, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't call them chakras, I call them energy centers, but basically where you place your attentions, where you place your energy. If I were to ask you right now, hey, be aware of your big toe, and you wiggle your big toe, you're more aware of your big toe right now than you are of maybe your pointer finger. So just be aware of that. Where you shift your awareness, that's where your energy is going to. And so when you're in this space of nothing, like you are in meditation, and you just shift your awareness to a specific part of your body, that actually creates a coherence in that region. And so a lot of people have these incredible healing experiences because they're focused on this coherence in a specific region. So if you were to bless your energy center, if you were to bless and give life to a specific part of your body, then hey, that creates coherence in the cells, and you're able to repair itself, or they're able to repair itself there. And then you want to watch a couple of these Q&As. There's a playlist right here. Watch throughout your journey of meditating. All right, let's get into action steps. So you're going to get a Google Calendar or iCal and then just set up meditation times. So within 30 minutes of waking up, ideally, you want to set up your meditation block for 30 minutes, and you're going to have the YouTube link to exactly what you're going to be listening to within that block. Or maybe it's a file and you have it saved on your phone. You want to bookmark it in your phone, in your home screen. There's a 30-minute breathwork-based meditation right here. It's not Dispenza's. It's actually based off of Wim Hof's meditation, or Wim Hof's breathwork. And the reason why you want to do this, especially if you're a beginner, is because you got to be able to feel the profound effects of this work in order for you to keep doing it, or else you're going to give up. And so doing 50 breaths per round, and then holding your breath for 2 minutes, another 2 minutes, 2:30, and then 3 minutes, it's going to show you what you're capable of, and then encourage you to go past what feels comfortable for you, all right? Once you get past that comfort zone, as I talked about, that's where all the gold is. So if you just want to do one round of breath to start, and you do that for 10 minutes, it's totally fine. Just get in a habit of doing it every single day. If you do it every single day, it starts to become a habit, and then you'll want to go further and play around a little bit, see what else you can do with it, all right? And then number 4, you want to schedule a twice-a-week, hour-long meditation. You can join one of these free ones down here. There's this, as I said at the beginning of this video, Giving Business Soul has a 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time breathwork-based session that you can join. You can also join various Facebook groups. They have meditation events that take place that you can join in live. When you do the live component, it forces you to be there and not somewhere else. You don't just have a billion tabs open or just the option to leave and get distracted by something else. You're there. And I would even encourage an in-person session, because then that really puts you in a box, a container where you have nothing else to distract you in your life. And if you want to do your own, you can, but I highly encourage you to check out the global coherence meditations that are out there too. And if you want to do your own, do the blessing of the energy centers. Dispenza has one on YouTube. There's another one, powerful self-love guided meditation. Do that. And here's a walking meditation. You'll want to do that right whenever you get a couple meditations, these hour-long sessions under your belt, and maybe you want to mix it up a bit, and so you go for a walk. You go out on a beach, or you go into nature, and then you would put these headphones on and listen to a walking meditation. You walk as your future self, would be walking. And you walk as with the emotions of your future self intact. That's the key to this. A couple other steps: sound healing near me, meditation near me. Find the community in your local area. There are other people out there seeking, that are curious like you, that you got to connect with. Okay? If you feel unfulfilled right now in your dating life, you will find people that are potential partners that you could date that are doing the same work. They got several years of personal development under their belt. Or maybe they recently had a spiritual awakening. But just, be aware, we're a very sincere community. You're going to come across people who make this their life's mission. And they've unveiled a large portion of purpose. And they're going to go after what they want with the zest. And some people are still wavering a bit, but there's a lot of very focused, very committed people in the holistic health and meditation community. So, hey, if that's your style, go for it. Otherwise, go to Medellin and hit the club scene and just go do a bunch of casual sex if you're into that. I will tell you, from personal experience, the more that you do this work, the less desire you will have for casual encounters. Or just casual relationships in general. Relationships that don't really have any depth. And you won't really be able to maintain conversations, or you won't feel fulfilled having specific kinds of conversations with people. So, may sound hippy-dippy, but this is just what I found in my experience. And I've drank ayahuasca, I've done the DMT, I've been to a bunch of different retreats, and I can tell you, I still got my foot integrated within the real world, but I really like this world that is opening up, that eventually it's going to catch on, and a lot of people are going to be making this a part of their daily habits, and there'll be better decisions made as a whole for the world. So if you have a major health condition, you want to do the steps above, plus add 2 to 3 hours of meditation a day to your plate and remove all the non-meditation content to consume. If you're watching news, if you're watching sports, remove that ASAP. Even if it's not news or sports, if it's helpful information, if it's not directly related to epigenetics, the psychology of healing, if you're not consuming data related to that, then I'd say you're missing out big time on a life lived free of pain. If what you're having is causing you pain or worry that whatever health ailment you're dealing with is going to catch up to you and you can have a shorter life, I would take it sincerely and see what kind of results you can have occur, and be your own case study. Be your own case study and watch those testimonials too, just to see what's possible for people when they do this work. All right? And so if you have severe trauma, there are 2 things that you can do. Number 1 is ketamine therapy. There's clinics set up all across the U.S. That's very useful. Puts you into a altered state that, if you have the right therapist around, can help you reassociate certain feelings, emotions with past trauma. And so now you no longer feel the same way about specific thoughts. Pretty cool, right? And with the SGB block, that's more so of that's a stanzo, or I'll look it up real quick for you. This is a very useful treatment that turns off your fight or flight response. Stellate ganglion block. Stella. So depression, anxiety, PTSD, stress. So it's local anesthetic, and it gets injected inside of your neck, and then you're able to go into a state of being where you're not in fight or flight. So if you need like an instant lifestyle change, or you need an instant change and you're feeling like you're at a low point, this may be a solution that can help you. All right? You just want to make sure that you're working with some real professionals. The website that I was at, this is, I think, the highest end treatment out there. There's probably some more expensive ones, but this is the highest end one. Quick note on psychedelics before we end this video. You do not use them. I recommend strongly against using them until you have several good meditation and breathwork sessions, because then you start to become aware of these thoughts that come up, And a lot of people, they use psychedelics to heal themselves, but I think having a solid understanding of the mental models behind meditation, your mind, and your own thoughts that come up, the more familiar you get with that, then the smoother that your trips become if you use psychedelics, and the more you get out of the sessions as a whole. It's less of a violent, cathartic encounter. So if you found this video helpful, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I want to put out more content like this and just make it incredibly useful for you to take action on instead of just talking mere theory. And I would love to see what kind of results you can create in your life. DM me on Instagram and let's keep the conversation going so we can create a super fantastic place to live in.